If you've ever wanted a portrait of how fucked up people can be to other people, then here you go. Happy Face is brought to us by director Alexandre Franchi and stars Debbie Lynch-White and Robin Lahamu. We follow Stan, played by Lahamu. And I know that's the second time I butchered your name, so I'm sorry. Stan's a 19-year-old college student who lives with his mother, who is slowly dying from cancer, and it started to really take a toll on her physically. When she's eventually hospitalized, Stan has a really hard time getting the courage together to actually go see her on her deathbed. This is not the woman he's known his entire life. She is deteriorating slowly and awfully. It's eating away at her body and her mind, and he is absolutely terrified and has no idea what to do. So he does probably the worst fucking thing you can do, and he joins a support group for disfigured individuals. Now, Stan's not disfigured at all. He's actually a pretty good looking guy, but he ends up taping his face up in all these ways and putting bandages around his head to get into this group so that they think he is disfigured as well. Now, he does this with good intention. He goes in hoping that he will get comfortable around people with deformities, with issues, the sick. I mean, they're not necessarily sick, they just have like physical deformities. Like one guy's been burned and he has trouble walking now. One of the characters apparently has some type of physical deformity where she has these, it looks like warts all over her face. And then there's some characters that have major facial deformities overall. These people are the outsiders in the world. After spending time with them, he forms bonds with them and wants to help them himself. And hopefully maybe get some therapy for himself through giving others therapy that need it. Honestly, Stan is probably the most fucked up emotionally of all these characters. And the rest of the story is this group of characters coming together and figuring out ways that they can help each other with all their different issues. But it's not always just perfect and super happy. These people do not lead easy lives. And ultimately what we learn is that while this new group of friends that Stan has all have internal and external scars and deformities, Stan has some extremely deep-rooted internal deformities. And we find that neither is easy to live with in this cruel, cruel world that we all inhabit. Happy Face is a unique movie in many ways. All the characters in this movie that have deformities actually do have those deformities in real life. And while, yeah, the movie could have had actors that had prosthetics on and I guess gotten the point across, it is supremely more impactful seeing these people that have these real-world deformities and live with it every day. Because it's not just something on the outside. You see it in their eyes. They have lived this life. This is real for them. Now, that is the thing that I don't think just any other actor that hasn't really lived that life could really get across as solidly and believably as these people did in this movie. There are parts of this movie that will just twist your insides up. The movie does not flirt with emotion. It dives in and grabs you and forces you to be a part of it. There are some deeply emotionally affecting scenes in this movie. And a large part of how deeply effective they are is that the people that they have in these situations live this life every day. Much of the story is this group of people coming together trying to help each other move forward in life and be happy. Helping each other over hurdles that they face every day that many other people will never know. And we have seen this kind of story before. However, Happy Face presents it totally different than we usually get. This is not a totally happy movie. Not everyone here gets a happy ending. That's not to say everybody has a bad ending either. I mean, there are some, but this is a much more realistic approach to this type of story. Everything doesn't always work out. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it just doesn't. And sometimes it works out in a wholly different way than you ever thought it would. That's something Happy Face's story does very well. You see this movie going a certain way and you think to yourself, I know what this is. I know how it's gonna work out. It'll still be a good time. I'll feel good about it. Might be a few tears here or there. But I know where it's going. I know basically what the beats are gonna be. And right around the time you say that, this movie pulls the rug from underneath you and says, no, this is how it is. You know how these movies usually go, but we're going down a much more realistic, impactful road with this story. And that made it all just mean so much more. Not everyone triumphs every time, but when they do, it just means so much more. When you see someone overcome some of these extremely difficult hurdles that some of us could never imagine, it's pretty fucking inspiring. But the best part of all is in this movie, it usually doesn't work out the way that you think. Much like in real life, a lot of the times the thing that they think that they want isn't really what they want. What they think they need to heal isn't that. Sometimes it's something within them. They just need that strength, that fire lit within them. And honestly, that's what most people need. And that is something that is deeply ingrained in this movie. It's not about getting what you think you want. It's about getting what you need. And you don't always know what that is until you got it. Happy Face's story is very difficult to watch at times. But on the flip side of that, there is more true beauty in this movie than we get in the vast majority of movies that come out of Hollywood every fucking year. Our performances are all fantastic here as well. Lahamu and White as our leads do a great job here. But it's not just them. This entire group of characters are just fantastic. I gotta throw out some honorable mention to David Roche, E.R. Ruiz, and Allison Midstock. All do a fantastic job and turn in wonderful performances. But it's Cindy Nicholson as Buck, who in my opinion turned in the most heartfelt performance of all. As far as I could see, this is her only screen credit, but holy shit, she knocks it out of the park. There's a scene in particular that focuses solely on her face. She doesn't make any exaggerated expressions or anything, but it's all right there. You see so much emotion burning right under the skin. It is absolutely one of the most powerful moments in the entire movie. This woman just peering into the camera, and you know without one single word, no exaggerated emotions, none of that. You know from the subtle little changes in her face and her eyes, the pain is just transferred from her to you. You see every bit of it. You know exactly what she's feeling in that moment, and it is absolutely beautiful and heartbreaking all at the same time. As a whole, everyone here did a fantastic job. Going into this movie, I wasn't really expecting much in the performance department, but what I got is probably some of the best damn performances I'll see all year long. Guys, Happy Face is just a beautiful movie. It's a gut-wrenching, hard-to-watch movie at times, and no, that has nothing to do with the way that the people look on screen. It's the amount of pain that you see at times. It's the way that people can treat other people in this world, and seeing that and how it affects people in such a way is just gut-wrenching. This movie has some of the most beautiful people I've ever seen in my life, regardless of what the rest of the world thinks of their outward appearance. You can tell that on the inside, these people have true light. They are real people. They care, they love. And that is more than you can say for a lot of the more beautiful people out there in the world. Happy Face had a very interesting story that was pretty difficult to watch at times. It had fantastic performances all around and the true courage to actually take this story somewhere that we didn't expect. Happy Face is not always the easiest movie to watch, but it is one that you should watch, and it is absolutely worth a rent.
All he wanted was this.
I have to return some videotape.
This is a great little movie that I had the honor of being able to see prior to its release later this month in 2021. And I honestly would have said this movie was worth a buy, but I know that it is going to be a movie that a lot of people are only going to watch once. It's a tough watch at times, for sure, but it is also a wonderful watch at times as well. So if you're in the mood one night for a deeply affecting drama with some true heart, then get those tissue papers ready, sit down, and check out Happy Face, and I think you'll be very, very pleased. So there it is, guys, my review of Happy Face. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, Ontario.
People judge me on how I look instead of who I am.
You look like Freddy Krueger.
You don't know what it's like. She left me because I got like this.
Now, I know I really harped on the fact that this can be a tough movie to watch, and it does have its tough parts, but it's not like the whole movie is just like a downer. In fact, the vast majority of the movie, in my opinion, depending on how you look at it, is actually an upper and has quite a positive outlook for the most part. It's a realistic positive outlook that you gotta go into it looking at that, but it is a positive outlook nonetheless. But just know that this movie is more realistic than movies of this ilk usually. It's not gonna be any like everybody's happy in the end riding off into the sunset shit. No, this is like you could see everything here going down like this in real life. Like really, the world in this movie is real and it gives no shits about your feelings or anybody else's. So you know, kind of like the real world. That's a cheery outlook. Way to go out on a high note there, Jake.